All right, so hey everyone, welcome to the Be Insightful in Technology podcast. I'm your host, Shakiria Johnson, also known as Shy, and I'm here to help you gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be insightful in technology. So today I have a wonderful guest who has Before the Billions YouTube channel that I watch and does a lot of streaming, really. So I'm going to have him introduce himself and tell you a little bit more about where he can be found and tell us about what he does.
What's up, everybody? This is William from Before the Billions. I am a professional data engineer, and on my channel, I go through many different discussions about different topics, and also I do interviews on my channel. I also just recently started a new channel titled Black Man in Tech. So I started a Black Man in Tech series on my Before the Billions channel, and then I created a whole different channel dedicated to helping more people get into the tech industry and showing them that there are different ways for them to make more money out here. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, will be getting into the tech industry. So thank you, Shah, for having me up here.
It is amazing to have you as a guest. So when you say you're helping people find their way into the tech industry, especially Black men with your channel, what have you noticed some of the issues when it comes to joining?
Yeah, one of the issues is that people are scared. So yeah, people are scared to get into tech. It's easier than you would think. I'm not gonna say it's like a cakewalk. It's gonna take some work required. It is going to take you some time and effort, but a lot of people can get into it if you just have the skill. Like, one of the biggest skills you need to have is the ability to sit in front of a camera for long periods of time, or sit in front of a computer screen for long periods of time without getting too bored. Right, you need to have that skill. That's probably one of the most important ones, because even if you aren't necessarily coding, you do have to be able to speak with people on Zoom or wherever else, especially since everybody's moving to remote work. And you definitely do have to be able to sit down for long periods of time. But if you can't do that, you might want to go ahead and try to learn or gain that skill.
Okay, so that's pretty helpful. Like, majority of my audience is male. I'm finally creeping up to that male and female ratio, evening out. But yep. So when it comes down to your journey as, a Black man in tech, how have you eased your way into it?
Yeah, so I got my college degree from Georgia State University, right? So that's one thing. So that helped me become a person or a Black man in tech. But what I started doing was I had to advocate for myself a lot more. I started my YouTube channel right after I had got laid off from my job at Home Depot.
Really?
So, yep, when I used to work at Home Depot, I ended up getting laid off. And not only me, but also a lot of people on my team got laid off. It was like I had a good 8 people out of like 20 people got laid off, and some people just left the company or left that team. But it was a lot of people who left, and I was stuck there without a job. And I said, let me start my YouTube channel to show people, like, hey, you know what? It happened to me. I had a terrible time not having a job. Like, it's like one of the worst things when you get your degree and you don't have a job, and then when people ask you, what do? You like, oh, I don't really do anything. So getting back out there, and I got another job after that. And now I teach people how to avoid some of the mistakes that I've made when I was younger. So I've done that. And also, if they need to learn something new, I do interviews with different people who are in the industry as well, so they can help teach you that, hey, it's not going to be as hard as it appears. And also, there is resources and help out there for you guys to get into the tech industry.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Like, Home Depot is my former employer. So as we hear talks about the recession coming and there's going to be potential layoffs with that, basically having a skill that is in demand will help prevent kind of that, or at least help you bounce back if it does end up happening. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that information. Like, it is a lot of stuff that we need to pay attention to, and having those skills will definitely give you something to fall back on, because I feel like tech is one of the things, it may be one of the easier barrier to entries. Like, the barrier to entry is like not as high when everybody can have access to, phone and some internet, computer and some internet. You can make a lot. That's magic right there. You can make a lot happen with that. So what is it? What has inspired you to pursue your career in tech?
Yeah, my dad. My dad was the biggest reason. I told my dad I wanted to major in art. And then my dad said, "No, you ain't gonna major in no art." I'm like, come on now. And then I said, "Okay, well, Dad, what do you do?" He used to be a police officer working for Fulton County Police Department here in Atlanta, and then he also did IT for the precinct. So he had a degree in IT, and I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get a degree in something that's IT related, something related into computers. And the closest thing I could get to at Georgia State was computer science. So they have computer science and they have CIS, which is more of a business degree. CIS is the business degree. Computer science is more theoretical. So with that, I got my degree and got a degree with a concentration in databases and knowledge-based systems. And now I'm a data engineer. So working in the industry.
Okay, so let me ask you before we dive deep into what you do as a data engineer, where did the art come from? Like, was it something you were doing beforehand? Like, or was it just something interesting that you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I could draw. So throughout all of my life, really, I used to draw and create artwork, traditional artwork, digital artwork, and I just loved it. That was just my thing. And then when I got older, I was like, okay, well, I'm about to graduate high school. What do I want to do? Well, I know I can draw, but then my dad told me that, hey, you know what? How about you get something that is going to have a better return on investment? Get you something that you can do, like you need a degree for. That's what he was kind of putting it at as, is that, hey, you know what? Instead of just getting a degree, just say you have a degree, get you a degree that, like, okay, I can't be this without getting this degree. Now, not saying that you can't become a data engineer without a degree. It's just you're going to have to take a different set of steps than I did, right? You need to be able to prove that you're able to do the job. So whenever, we talk about getting into this position, there's plenty of different ways to get in. It's just my way of getting in was getting my degree. And it's helped me out tremendously.
Okay, that's amazing. So do you still, draw on the side? You at least showcase your art skills?
You know what? I have not. Because I might run my YouTube channel. So I try to be artistic in the thumbnails that I put up, and there's certain things that I have, like the backgrounds, the intro, all of those things. I try to make sure that it's kind of artistic in nature, but then also kind of still related to technology in a sense. So if you guys ever check out my YouTube channel, you see my intro or my countdown and stuff like that, you can kind of see some of that art coming through.
Okay, I'm glad you still get to sprinkle it around.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? It helped me out with video editing too, because I learned how to do Photoshop, and some of the things translate over to my editing software, DaVinci Resolve. So I kind of learned some of the hotkeys and some of the things that help me automate and edit my videos faster. So that's also another form of art, which is video editing as well, and photography.
You do photography on the side too?
I do.
All right, so multi-skilled out here, got everything. You're set
Right.
to be a content creator.
Yeah, it took me some time. I didn't think I was going to do it, but I'm in it now.
And you're killing the game. You're doing really well out there.
I appreciate it.
Welcome. So what do you do as a data engineer? Like, what is your day-to-day task like? What kind of things do you run into?
Yeah, so I always say that a data engineer is somebody who moves data from one place to the other, right? That's the high level explanation of it that people, pretty much anybody can understand, right?
Mhm.
And I always tell this story of Amazon. Everybody knows what Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world. And Amazon is like how a data engineer would have, like the task that we do. We move, so we take in an order, right? We take in that order, we make sure everything is labeled, everything is written out correctly, put everything and make sure everything's tightly wrapped and stuff like that in the box. Then we put it on the truck, and then take it to the destination. And then everything that is on that box and inside of the box should be exactly as you expected. It should be correct. So that's pretty much what we do. We transport that data and make sure that everything that the business is asking us to do is exactly as they required, right? So we have these business requirements that come in from the company that you work for. And the business requirements are going to be various different things, whether it's I want to create new fields within a database. I want you to set up our database. I want you to set up a pipeline. The pipeline is going from the data from one database to the other database. The reason why you want to move one database to the other database is because you want them to be able to show it up on the front end or on the softwares. You know, like when you open up the website, you want to be able to show all that data that's on the page. And we're actually the ones that actually provide the data for the other software engineers or UI, UX designers and developers to be able to put that up on the website. And without us, nothing would be there.
It would be like an empty shell. Just
yeah, it would. I'm telling you, like, and one of the mistakes I had made in the past was I was doing some like deployment, and I ended up pausing one of the jobs that we had that was loading data into the website, and they was like, "Oh, wait a second, the website doesn't have anything on there." So I was like, "Oh, okay, let me go ahead and start it up again." And then everything was running fine. But without that data being there, the whole thing crashed. And that's just how important it is to be able to, make sure that everything is working correctly, right? Making sure that data actually does make it to that destination. Yeah, everything depended on you, and also the front end designer, the developers and designers, and also the accountants. So got to give them a shout out too.
So how does it feel playing like a big part at a company? Or how does it feel just being a part of tech industry in general?
Yeah, so playing a big part. So I have been in the industry for over 4 years now, coming up to 5, and I'm starting to get into some more leadership positions. It's a complete change. It's like one of those things where like I would just start off just doing my work, and then I would ask questions, and then people would just answer it for me. Now I'm the person that people ask questions to, and I had to come up with work for people. And it's like, okay, well, now I need to take it a little bit more seriously than where I started initially. My first job was kind of like playtime compared to where I am now. And it's a good feeling because people actually appreciate when you help out others, when you're there and available to answer questions, when you're there and you actually have a deep understanding of the process because you explain to others how to use it. It's a good thing, and people advocate for you. People say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell this C-level executive about the good things that you do. You did a presentation for our group one day," and which what I did. I did a presentation for our group, and then it got up to C-level executives, and they said that they enjoyed the fact that I actually did that, and that I made this presentation to help the business to make different decisions. So having a big role or having a role that's important is it's a good feeling, and it makes you feel like you're important. Another thing is, I think your next question is what is it like just being in the tech industry?
Yeah.
And being in the tech industry it's fun. I mean, there's so many different benefits that you gain from being in the tech industry that, I mean, like, let me tell you guys, I used to I used to be broke. I used to be broke and poor. And I ain't like it. You know, I used to be working in the warehouse as a temp worker, and I didn't have any benefits. I didn't have time off. I was sitting here working, breaking my back. I ain't had no air conditioning in my car. Not to say that you ain't got no air conditioning if you ain't working in the tech industry, but I was just talking about myself. But you know what? It's that with making that move after I got my degree, now I'm able to benefit in the fact that I actually have paid time off now. I actually have a lot more benefits like healthcare and stuff like that. And also I was able to afford a house by saving up my money through the pandemic, and saving up my money using the salary that I get from my job as a data engineer. So I was able to put myself into a better position because of my efforts of getting into the tech industry. So that's why I always tell people, like, hey, this is why I'm trying to help others get into the same position that I'm in now, compared to where I was before.
It changed your life pretty much. Like,
it did.
Like the same for me. I remember I'm trying to get a tech job after high school. Like, I graduated with my associates in Cisco networking. I was looking for like a knock position or something. So in that whole time, I was going through like probably the worst period of life, because I have no job after high school because I had an internship and I was supposed to go directly to college. I was supposed to just start at Kennesaw and be in school every day and just be fine. But that's not how things happen. So I felt like once I finally got my job in tech, I started like at help desk. I started at Home Depot's help desk, actually, really. And then I progressed from there and I got out of the trenches, I would say. And it's really helped me build skills and mindset, financial literacy, getting that stuff set when you do make more income, because tech is one of those industries where it's like you don't have to stay in one position for long at all. If you're willing to learn and pick up the skills, you can move up higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. Did you work at the MTC?
I did.
Well, I worked at the MTC. Yeah.
So I started in 2019, and I was there and then I moved over to like the SSC.
So, okay, because I was working at, I think I was working there 2019. Yeah, I was working there 2019 really? At Home Depot. Yeah, I was. We might have been working together. We just didn't realize it.
Right.
Working in the same building. Pass by each other every day or something like that. Because that's when we had to go into the office.
Yeah.
You know, I was sitting here like, dang. But yeah, I was working there 2018, actually 2019 all the way through 2020.
Really?
And then yep.
Okay, so yeah, probably ran across each other about a few times. I didn't even know.
Yep, exactly how it happens. Small world in Atlanta. Atlanta is, and now you moved over to SSC, which is the headquarters or something like that. Yeah. And then the parking is terrible from what I've heard.
See, I was there like still during the pandemic, really like when it was starting the return to office phases, but I didn't ever see how bad it was, other than like orientation and stuff. But I didn't ever see how bad the parking could really get there. I saw if you were in the Slack channels, the parking channel, and I was just like, I hope they don't ever take a picture of my car, because I'd be parking crazy if nobody next to me.
Man, I used to see them Slack channels, the parking channel. They'd be saying some crazy stuff going on. I'd be like, what in the world? I was like, man, this one person was parked sideways, like across several lanes. I was like, okay, they just tripping. But that's how bad the parking is sometimes.
You gotta save you a few parking spots.
Yeah. I don't want nobody to touch my car. I paid too much money for this car. I paid $700 a month.
Man, so glad I got out of car notes, but never had to pay $700 a month though. Oof.
Yeah, I saw that's how much the Teslas are. I was like, golly, that's a lot of money.
I feel like they might as well get one to be a business write-off because man, way too much. But what are some of your thoughts, comments, and concerns of what's going on in the industry right now? Like they could be positive or negative.
Yeah, so I know that there's a lot of people, who are working from home now, and a lot of people are moving away to other places. So I think that I absolutely love working from home. I'm a advocate for it. Yeah, some companies are like, oh, I want to do hybrid. I want to get people back into the office. But this is one of those things, one of those opportunities where, hey, you know what? There are so many people who are working from home and working from other places now. People getting married, having children, moving, buying houses in other states. They're not coming back, and that's a good position to be in if you just want to be able to make some good money and also be able to live on your own terms. You get on and you get your morning meeting in, and you get whatever meetings out the way, but then you don't have to leave your house if you don't want to, or if you want to leave your house, you can go to like a Starbucks or something like that. So it's a lot of great opportunities for people, in addition to the fact that you also get those benefits as well that not a lot of other companies are providing. And also you make some good money. I mean, like as a data engineer, and also if you go the contract route, if you go full contract, you'll be able to make more money than full-time employees that you tend to, right? I'm not gonna say for every instance, but you tend to make more money when you are a contractor because you miss out on those benefits. But contractor, I think, makes the most money. Contract to hire makes a little bit less money than just the full-time employees. Contract to hire then goes on to being a full-time employee. I know that's how it was at Home Depot, because Home Depot, for some reason, there was almost never any instance where you could just go straight to full-time. You had to go contract to hire, then full-time, or you go for internship into full-time.
It's funny you say that because I got in full FTE. I got in full time. They said it was so rare. They said it was so rare. There was like 12 of us, and we got in, and like everybody was like looking at us sideways because it was just like, how y'all get in FTE like that? We had to go to contractor route, had to do something before we got here. And I was just like, I ain't know it was that hard.
It's hard as I don't know what. Maybe it's because you're working you said you work at help desk too, so it might be a little bit different. But yeah, it's a lot of people were like, man, it's kind of hard to go full time. And that's another thing, is that in the industry, I remember I had an internship working at a company called Global Payments. It's now called TSYS. And I had a director who was kind of like my manager, and he was telling me, like, I was asking him, like, hey, can I get like I'm trying to get like a full-time position. For some reason, they do not, for the most part. I have seen some interns go full-time with that company, but for the most part, most of them, they do not extend an offer to them for full-time employment. So when I spoke to my manager about it, he said, he looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, you trying to go full-time? He said, maybe you'll be better if you go the contract route just to get experience. And at first I was like, no, I want to go full time. But then I had to just turn that down and say, hey, let me go ahead and get my experience in. And then now I'm actually full time with my current company. And, I love being full time because now I get that PTO. And also the fact is that I didn't get any overtime hours as a contractor. So that was I didn't get any overtime hours. So I didn't get any overtime hours. So it didn't make any difference. Like now I get straight pay as a contractor and also as full-time employee. So the only thing that I would get when I worked overtime is you can replace those hours with hours that you're not working.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, back to your thoughts, comments on what's going on. The work from home life, honestly, I enjoyed it. Like, I still feel like working from home is one of the best things possible. what I do know, like going on now, a lot of places are going RTO, even at the company I'm at is RTO, but we have flexibility. And we set aside days to go to just meet as a team. I understand going through meeting with teams, doing any on-site work that may need to happen because I'm with network engineering. We're deploying out circuits, switches, routers, and stuff. So, it may be well to go to the site and actually see what's happening. Can't just, be at home all the time, but I do enjoy being at home as much as possible. So I'm glad that work from home is being more enforced and a lot more available to people because I don't see a full return to office being okay anymore. I feel like people, they might have started their jobs in Georgia and they might have moved over to Texas or something, but they still are able to have that job. And even if there is an RTO, it may end up being that they just have to find something else. And you got your skill set. You have your wants, your needs from a position to where, since it's still an employee's market, you can go find it. You can go find something pretty easily. There's still a high demand for anybody's skill set as long as they're willing to work.
Yeah, actually, I heard about a few companies that are fully remote now. One of those companies is Shopify, and another one is what is it called? It's called a cloud, like Cloud Guru or something along those lines. It's a cloud company, Cloud Force or something like that. I gotta look it up again, but it is Shopify is one of those companies that is widely known as fully remote. Also, I think GitHub is also fully remote as well.
Are they now?
I think so. So I gotta check again, but I remember interviewing somebody who worked at GitHub, and he was saying that, yeah, we're fully remote. So there's a lot of people, and also Google was talking about people being remote until they feel like going back into the office. I don't know if that may have changed, but that was an article that I read a little while back. And you have a lot of companies that are going remote. I mean, like, and then when you think about it, they save a lot of money off of not having that commercial real estate. They get that 10-year lease with a building, and then they end up like not even needing it.
Like, I feel like it definitely saved companies some money. And also, I feel it may be certain departments that are completely remote. Like, they may be just setting off certain departments. I know, like, when I was at Home Depot, the help desk became fully remote during the pandemic, but the knock didn't. Like, we were right over the data center. So it was just like certain teams are able to be fully remote. So let's ease into this. So since you have a channel called, helping Black men get into tech, so what are some, like, maybe 3 tips that can help others get to where you are, or at least step their foot in the door?
Right. So 3 steps to get your foot in the door into the tech industry. Or if you want to go the same route that I did, I went through the 4-year college degree route. You don't have to go that way because there are other available routes for you to do. You can either go get your 4-year degree in computer science, CIS, mathematics, accounting. You can get anything math related. You can get into the tech industry. Or if you go the community college route, transfer over to a 4-year college and then get your degree. That way it's cheaper that way. And also you'll be able to get into the door as well, because you're actually showing that you have proof that you have completed something and you have gone from start to finish. Another thing is that if you want to go the self-taught route, you're going to have to get it popping with that leak code. You're going to have to get it popping with that Gail Locke McDowell cracking the coding interview. Everybody, I will say, check out that book. Gail Locke McDowell, cracking the coding interview. Please go check it out. It helped me out tremendously with these coding interviews. In addition to that, you also want to have projects that you can say, hey, you know what? I was able to do this project. One trick that I've learned is that if you do interviews for different companies, some companies ask you to do a project for the interview. So they'll give you a take-home project. Do the project, even if you don't get the job, put that on your resume. I did such and such for Shopify or GitHub or Google. I applied for a position with them. They asked me to make a stock trading website that had webhooks and all these other kinds of things. And I was able to do it. Here's the link to my GitHub where the code is hosted. So that way you can see that I actually have code. I actually have the skill to be able to do what I say that I'm able to do. Another trick is for your resume. Please get somebody to look over your resume. If you do not know how to make one yourself, please go to your career services. I know that even I believe that there's a whole bunch of different places that you can look at on LinkedIn as well. They do mock interviews. I would say do a mock interview to kind of get your skills up. Get your resume to the point where you match up with at least, I want to say 50 to 60% of what the job description is looking for. So if you don't know a specific skill, go ahead and learn that skill through Coursera, Udemy, or any other course platform that will be able to teach you these skills. A Cloud Guru is another company that you'll be able to learn those skills. And yeah, so I think that will be just some ways of you being able to get into the tech industry. Also, another thing is that you do not have to be a coder in order to get into the tech industry. Let me go ahead and for the people who just like talking to people, go ahead and check out becoming a business analyst. I did an interview a little while back last year and for how to become a business analyst, right? So if you guys go check that out on Before the Billions, I have that up on there. And also check out learning how to become a Scrum Master. Scrum Masters, these are like non-technical jobs, but they have to be able to at least understand and be able to understand what the technical people do, right? These are more business related, since business analyst is more of a business related. You're more so the liaison between the business and the technical people. So you have to be able to kind of speak both languages, but you don't need to actually code anything. So those are some things that I would say if you're trying to become a person who is in the tech industry or black man in tech, most definitely check out those routes in order to get to the desired place that you're trying to go.
You just handed out some gems. You really just handed out some gems.
But thank you. I know you asked for there's 3. I was just going.
Like, you was just on fire with it.
I was just going. I didn't count.
But that is some really helpful advice. So I'm just gonna wrap it up with what is a motivating, insightful quote that has helped you throughout your journey. And also, before you say that, hope everybody listening goes ahead and subscribe to the podcast. And I'll make sure to include his YouTube channels and the book that he recommended in the show notes so that you can get that information, because don't sleep on this. If you're really going to be in it, be in it. So what is that motivating, insightful quote?
Right. So this is a quote that I heard when I was working in a warehouse. I was sitting here like, man, I ain't making no money. I really needed to make money in order to help take care of my family. And I was just going through it. And it was like an older guy, he told me, he said, hey man, you have to go through this right now because it'll make you a better man later on in life. And there were no truer words that I've ever heard. It stuck with me. It was like just one conversation with a man. I can't even remember his name, but when he said that, it resonated with me even years later into this day, where I was like, okay, he was so right about this. Never saw him ever again. I saw him one day for like a few hours and then worked with him for a few hours. And he said that to me. That was the only thing I remember that we talked about. But that was some of the best advice that I've ever gotten. And it was so true. I had to go through it.
That's amazing. Like, honestly, we all go through life not really knowing why is this stuff happening to us, but it builds character. It's like when it comes time for your success, you look back on everything that you've been through. And 9 times out of 10, success stories normally start with like the downfall. So when you start climbing back up to the top, you realize like, okay, I really did have to go through that to get here. So you have to figure out the struggles of the people. You have to figure out the struggles of yourself to realize why you even have the success. Because what's the point of just getting it and having it and not even know why you got it? Or, you know, what you got it for, what you worked for. So that is a really good one. I'm glad he really showed up one day to help you out.
Yeah.
But I am so glad you were on the podcast, and I'll make sure to include all your information in the show notes. So thank you guys for listening to the Be Insightful in Technology podcast. It was with BJ or William, if you see, but I helped you gain some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding today. So I really hope you listen in every Thursday, catch our new episodes, and be sure to subscribe, because this is gems. This is right here. You go to his channel, I know for sure you're gonna pick up a lot more information. So don't sleep on it. But thank you guys for listening today.